Welcome into the High Yellow Podcast. We back at it again. I have a special guest in the building, High Yellow Pod. It don't really get any much better than this. I got my man Ugo Amadi.
Yes, sir.
A.K.A. Burnt Mamba.
Yo.
A.K.A.
Yo.
like my boy Howard would say, the African. What up, bro? How you been, man?
Man, it's just one of them things. You hear about one of your friends, and for y'all that don't know, me and Dave,
we go back, man.
like the Travis Scott song. Really,
yes, sir.
Really, like I'm talking when I with my array of friends, I've been blessed because I've been in a lot of different environments.
For sure.
And God has blessed me, luckily enough, that people are generally, for some reason, attracted to me. Can't really tell you why. But if there's anything that I do, it's I definitely keep tabs on my core, and that's my elementary school friends, because you guys are my longest lasting friends. And
second grade.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings.
Yeah.
So for me, the friendships that I maintain are my siblings. You know what I'm talking about? So anytime I hear about one of my friends, especially the older they get, doing something special like this, bro, it fills my heart with joy. So that's why whenever you told me that you want to have me on here, this was a no-brainer.
I mean, bro, you've been positive critiquing my episodes, bro. You've been very involved in the process, bro. We got the content coming, and you've been very
anything to help y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to shed whatever positive perspective you could use from myself for you to further your brand and stuff like that. But other than that, it ain't nothing to it.
No, it's all love, bro. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming taking the time out of your day to be here, man. It's a privilege to have you, bro.
Man,
so I guess where do you want to start off, man?
I guess we can start with just the basic introductions. People gonna watch this.
For sure.
Want to know why you just have this random African.
For sure. Actually, let's do this because I want to touch on this African thing a lot because I'm very ignorant toward this, and I've always wanted to explore this. Right? What is it like growing up in an African household, bro? Because I have a lot of African friends. Right? I have homies from Eritrea. I got homies from Ethiopia. I got homies like Nigerian, everything, man. And I'll be quite frank with you, man, because you're the homie. From what I've heard, I don't want no part of it. Like I don't think I would. I don't think I would have survived coming up like that, man. So I'm very, like I said, I'm very ignorant to all this, man. So bro, what was that like for you, man? Coming up in an African household, how was that, man?
I'm gonna put it like this, right? You've been to my house a couple of times. I remember you and X walked over, got me to come play some ball or whatever. Most of my elementary school friends that have come over to my house have seen me get my ass beat by my mom. So if that just goes to show you what it is in terms of structure, and like I said, I speak for Nigerian people, Nigerian kids. I speak for Igbo kids. We can get into the distinctions between the two. I speak for Yoruba kids because my dad is Igbo, my mom's Yoruba. And all that simply means is that my dad is from East, South Nigeria, my mom's from the West.
Gotcha.
That's the main geographical difference.
Gotcha.
But so growing up, you're taught that age runs with respect. You know what I'm saying? They're very correlated. That's what I was looking for. So obviously, the older people get, the more you are supposed to address them as such. Like I have 30-year-old cousins that I was expected to call aunties. But they're cousins.
Yeah.
We're all on the same
That's interesting.
age group field, but because of that age, because of that experience that they have, that wisdom, you're supposed to address them as such, right? So growing up, we're very religious. Religion is really a part of your upbringing and that dates all the way back to colonization with religion being a main thing that the British brought to Nigeria in an attempt to control the people. So we take that very seriously. But then when it just comes to rules, the main stressors that we focus on our people is that, one, education, because education is freedom, and that's just life in general. Doing well in school, being respectful, but you have to live your life almost to a schedule. You know what I'm talking about. There's stuff you got to take care of in the house. There's stuff you got to take care of outside of the house. And then on top of all of that, you have to maintain a certain image or certain air, because coming to America, man, and I really should start all the way from the beginning, but my family came to America in 2001. Yeah, 2001. I was 3 years old. They saw it a lot earlier than I did, but there's a difference between people from Africa and African Americans born here. And it's really interesting because it really was last year. So a couple of months ago, right, I was taking an Uber to a location for my friend's birthday party, and I had a Middle Eastern man as my driver, right? So we were talking, and then he just cuts me off all of a sudden. He said, "I'm sorry, my friend, but the way you speak, your tone, your vocabulary, I just have to ask you where you're from." And that's when I told him I was Nigerian. My parents are straight from there, all that. And he was like, I often tell people whenever I find out that they are indigenous to the motherland that the difference that I've observed as a Middle Eastern man here in America is that the people from Africa have tradition, right? You guys have a very set way you guys do everything. It doesn't change. You can find this common theme amongst many people. A lot of the African Americans you see here don't have tradition.
Why do you think that is?
Because they were robbed. Whenever you grow up, it's tough because nobody wants to discuss slavery. Nobody wants to discuss all these things because they were so long ago and all that. But whenever you're a different toned human being, right, skin tone, whenever you're a different toned human being in a land where the majority is a different tone, and then you're treated differently because of your tone. And this starts from the very moment you got there. Not that you guys were living peacefully and then all of a sudden it all went to shit. No. Yeah. You were brought here for a reason. You fulfilled that reason through the works of many others who gave their lives and stood up for your rights and did those things. You're now on a still not even but somewhat better playing field, but there's still that air of you're different.
Yeah, and that's definitely very prevalent as to what's going on in current society today.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to touch on a few things you talked about, man. Scheduling, because I'm starting to finally understand the importance of scheduling out my days, man. I've been doing a lot of different things, man. I've been probably as busy as I've ever been, right? College, this podcast, just all types of different endeavors, traveling. What's so important, in your opinion, what's so important about scheduling your day, man? Because I think I have a good grasp of it, but I know you've kind of had this installed in you, like you said, from a child, and you understand the importance of time as luxury, time is key. So what's the importance of scheduling for you?
Okay, so I'm gonna start out on a weekly basis, and then we're gonna trim it down to the days, right? And we're gonna start from back then to now, because my schedule now is very different. So back then, first and foremost, we go to church every Sunday at 9 a.m., right? And I was raised Roman Catholic, so luckily for me, church was at max 2 hours. But for my other Nigerian peers that were raised Anglican, and that's just two different sects of Christianity, all the same God, most of the same stories, just disagreements within the church that led to this. An Anglican church, there's a church, All Saints. I'm trying to remember the exact street it's off of, but I can't.
Out in Houston?
I'll erase that. It's in our southwest little corner of Houston, yeah. But it's called All Saints Anglican Church, and I have several family friends that attend that church. The few times I've attended All Saints Anglican Church, I was in that church by 10 a.m., and I did not leave that church till 6, sometimes later. Now, I'm the type of person that if I waste a whole day in one place, bro, that just, it irks me, because I feel like there's so much different stuff I could be doing. Yeah. But needless to say, that's how some people choose to celebrate their faith, and by all means, let them do that. I won't do it, but let them do that.
See, that's what I be thinking about. Stuff like that, like religion. You're very to the book, very, like you said, traditional. I don't know how I would have made it, bro. I don't know, man, because not even I didn't go to church coming up, right, and I wasn't forced to. I've sought out faith as of recent, but I guess I feel like my personality, I would kind of rebel to it, right? Because if you're forcing me to do something every week.
There's kids rebelling.
If you're forcing me to do something on Sunday from 10 to 6, I'm not going to want to go. Like, I'm not going to lie to you.
There's literally, and it's funny because at this church, for example, in the main foyer of the church, there's all the chairs where the adults will sit for the service and whatnot, but there's an upstairs area for the kids.
Cool.
Because like even in a Catholic church, it's only 2 hours, bro. In the pews, you're gonna have kids laying down, dozing off. I was one of those kids.
Yeah,
I
would have been too.
Your attention span is just simply not built at that age to endure something like that.
Yeah.
But so they have this upstairs section for the kids, and I've been up there a couple of times during the church service. I mean, like it's really just like do whatever you want while your family's getting it in downstairs. You feel me? Like, and that's where a lot of relationships and friendships are formed in church, and that's why you see a lot of Nigerians know each other through church, because although like, yeah, their families might know each other because their families celebrate their faith together, those kids are really getting to know each other because, hey, we're stuck in this place for 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, there's the times I went, there wasn't a TV. It's not like everybody's just kind of chilling. Like, you kind of got to make your own fun. There's a little playground outside. You can go.
No Xbox.
Oh, no, none of that. None of that. They would never allow that.
Yeah.
But, you know, so you're stuck there with this other group of kids, and you're getting opened up. And a lot of you, like I said, are undergoing the same thing at home, you know, with the strictness of being brought up, the scheduling, the style that you're being raised. So you have a lot of stories that you can relate on. Yeah. But you also just kind of get used to the fact that, okay, this is just how it is. Yeah. You know, like
I may have missed this. Is this is this all inclusive church, or how is it?
Oh yes. Like okay, so basically Christianity.
It's not just an African church.
Okay. I've seen white people in this church.
Okay,
Yeah, so Christianity is, to me, one of the easiest religions to just kind of slide in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would agree.
The main point is, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? And most people, once they've read about the history and all that, they have no problem saying, yeah, of course. Well, there are certain rituals and other things, baptism, confirmation. That's just the Catholic side, but all other sects have their own deals. But so they go through all these things, right? And to say that you're in. But, like, for example, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, Raheel, he's lived down the street from me. He's a practicing Muslim. And Raheel could be over at my house. We could be playing the PlayStation or whatever. It hits a certain time, Raheel's going to go stand in the corner. He's going to get his 5 prayers in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have – Islam is a religion, and the reason why I like Islam so much is because the religion itself focuses more on self-growth. You know what I'm saying? More than – community. Christianity is a lot about community. Let's get together, let's worship. They have mosque in Islam, right? But then again, they're still tasked to do their prayer outside of it. You still got to get your 5 in throughout the day, whenever. You still got to point towards Mecca. You still got to do all these things. Christianity, a lot of Christians, because maybe they haven't done their research into the faith as much, or the way the faith was presented to them, they go to church on that Sunday, they dress up, put on their collared shirts, their pants or whatever, and then Monday through Saturday, we're sinning again. I talked to some of my friends, and like sometimes I was randomly asking them, like, bro, did you pray today when you woke up? They're like, what? I'm like, you thank God today that you woke up, bro? People die in their sleep all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not up to you if you wake up. Yeah. So with that being said, it's just more of focusing on what is your personal relationship with the higher power, and how do you perpetuate that going forward, you know? And so kind of bouncing all over the place here, but
you good, man.
I felt that around, so our personal relationship, right? Yeah. 6th grade, I left y'all. I left Westendorf. Parents moved me over to First Colony. More affluent area, basically just areas where you find more white people. There's typically going to be nicer stuff in this country, right?
Got you.
So I was at St. Lawrence Catholic School, right? So at St. Lawrence Catholic School, first and foremost, there were 3 other black people in my grade. 2 of them were male, 1 was female. And every Friday we went to Mass. So, like, in place of our usual 8 to 9, 8 to 10 class, we were actually in church with our priest, like a regular Sunday Mass, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, that's cool and all. But then I'd also turn around and go to church on Sunday, which was like kind of redundant to me because I'm hearing the same message twice, but that's whatever. But in that period of time, being in that environment as well as other things in my life, it really led me to have some questions about my faith that I knew that if I were to ask the people in my life, they would give me an answer that would not fulfill my inquisitiveness, my curiosity, right? So I did my own research. I started researching into other religions, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, even Greek Orthodox Judaism.
Just different theologies.
Just different theologies, different ideas, because that's really all religion is. Yeah. Nobody knows anything. We all have our perceptions. We all have ideas of where things come from. We have ideas of who controls it all. But at the end of the day, nobody concretely knows.
Yeah.
So after doing all this research and stuff at a young age, I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
You know, I have all these questions. I have all these just internal, like, just some stuff didn't sit right with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because in St. Lawrence Catholic School, we actually had a religion class.
Yeah.
You know, like with actual like work and homework and textbooks and all that, which was taught by a nun. Funny enough, I drove by her convent the other day off Gasmer, Sister Catherine's Vietnamese sisters convent. And so during one of our discussions or whatever, we covered the Crusades. So basically the Crusades was, in literally the most generic terms, was people carrying the religion of Christianity to other countries and other areas, like, for instance, the Ottoman Empire, which was the Turkish people, and those other places and other countries not really accepting Christianity, so the Christians just kind of murdered everybody. And then once you kind of murder everybody, especially the high-ranking males and everything else, you know what I'm saying, cut the head off the snake, the body will die.
Yeah.
Nobody else kind of wants to die. So then you kind of impose your will, and now everybody's a Christian. So if we're preaching this message of acceptance and love and peace and introspection and Jesus is this, God is that, but we have to use violence to spread our message, isn't that kind of contradictory to what we're practicing?
No, for sure. That's why I have a sort of, I'm not going to say that has a reason why I don't go to church, but I mean, I've definitely, like I said, as I've started to research and look into this stuff myself, like you said, kind of your independent studies, which I think is very important.
Definitely.
You know, I've started to come across these different dynamics as well, these different contradictions, and you know, how purposeful is this? Again, I practice Christianity. I proclaim myself to be Christian, but at the same time, I feel like it's healthy that you can acknowledge the evils of it as well and different things of that nature. Let me ask you this. You talked about when you left in the 6th grade and kind of when you was a more affluent community, majority of your peers were white. I know this was the case at Clemens as well. So, and then you end up going to Arkansas. We'll get into that in a second.
Man.
But, yeah, man. I feel like from 6th grade on, it was just a bunch of
general
white.
bleaching.
a lot of white people.
Social vitiligo.
So yeah, please tell me how that experience was for you transitioning to, because again, every every schooling from 6th grade on has been a predominantly white thing, man. And you know, yeah.
So, starting all the way from the roots, right?
Yeah. 6th grade.
Or 6th grade, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're in Richmond, Texas, right? And if anybody knows anything about Richmond, Texas, you will find a lot of African Americans and Hispanic Latino people there, right? There are white people, of course, in Richmond, but it's just with the general population diaspora. That's the majority of the ethnicity of the majority of the people that have settled there.
Okay.
So if you remember, back in Hutchinson, our elementary school, there was a good mix of everybody. We had white people, we had black people, we had Asians, we had Mexicans, we had everybody.
That was the best days of my life.
Man. So then you take our multicultural school, right, and you join it with, I don't even know how many other schools funneled into Westendorf. I think it was like 5 or 6 others.
Yeah.
And then you take all these 6, 7 elementary schools worth of kids and you throw them all in one building, right? And now it's like, yo, you thought we were multicultural before. Well, look, now you have some elementary schools that are majority black coming in with some elementary schools that are majority white. Yeah. You have some Gonzales Elementary, majority Mexican. They're all here with us now, and they're all from different backgrounds and financial households and stuff like that. So, like, really, their perspective of the world is just different. Yeah. And we're all getting used to that and stuff like that. So, you know, it's tough because, you know, 6th grade, the way our school system was set up with a more consolidated, 6th grade is only 1 year before they bump you up to junior high, which funnels in more other 6th grades. So, you know, my parents got me out of that situation because they felt like I was going down the wrong path. And funny enough, I don't know if I ever told you.
That was the reason?
That was really the reason. You know what was the incident that set that off?
Yeah.
My mom gave me $20 to go put into my lunch account, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It wasn't, who was it? I can't remember the name. It wasn't Lionel, but somebody on the bus,
Lionel.
you know, somebody on the bus definitely had some candy. Remember they used to sell candy in school, right? So somebody had a bunch of Snickers, bunch of Reese's, bunch of Skittles, all that stuff. Well, there in the early morning, 10-year-old me decided that I'm going to take my mom's $20. I'm going to buy all the Skitt's candy and I'm going to just resell it. and I'm gonna make all that money. I'm gonna buy his stuff in bulk, and I'm gonna resell. You remember I was selling candy.
Man,
I was selling candy at one point, right? So I mean, it wasn't even that like, and I mean like school lunch back then, before Michelle Obama tanked it, was fire, but it wasn't anything I was gonna die if I missed. So I was just kind of not eating at school, but I was selling candy. I was making bills. So one day.
I'm sorry. Yo, that's crazy. That brought me back, bro. You like one of the pioneers for this shit.
No,
like,
I'm telling you.
Mad people was selling mad candy like that.
Feel me? So my mom sees all these small bills in my backpack and all this candy. And she's like, "What did this happen?" And I mean, at the time, you know, my upbringing, if you don't follow the plan, you're doing something wrong. So my first instinct was to lie about it, right? So she goes, she checks my lunch account, sees that the money's never hit there. And it just kind of triggered something in her because she just had her own conception about the area and the school district. And she was like, "No, we're going to get you out of here."
But them lunch counts will fuck you up. They snitch on you. Yeah.
We were singing math songs during lunch, if you do not remember.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely pulled no punches in coming back to your parents with whatever you did. So they got me out of there. They moved me to First Colony. We were literally just down the highway. So my first day at St. Lawrence, I get there, and I remember because St. Lawrence, with it being a private school, we started a lot earlier than other schools. By 7:30, we were starting class, which means and it's a private school, so no school bus. Like your parents got to take you there, and it really opened my eyes as to what exactly private education is and what it costs and what the law, or not the laws, the rules and regulations that come with being a private institution is. Because, you know, with the Mark Cons, there was a set, we knew what our teachers could and couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember whenever they had to, in elementary school, they passed around that form for like, do you want your child to be susceptible to corporal punishment if they act up and all that stuff? And we were like, hell no, my mom's not going to sign this. She don't want nobody touching me but her. Private school, man, when you pay that sum of money and you sign all those papers and all those waivers and all that stuff, man, you are that private school's property, for real. And it's okay in the sense because a private school is being funded by so many things that they seem that they're not controlled by state funding, so they can afford to have certain amenities that public schools can't.
Yeah.
But with those, you know what I'm saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Of
so
course.
with all those amenities they have, they want to enforce the strict set of rules to keep their students in line to ensure that their amenities can be used appropriately or whatnot.
Yeah, so it's very traditional. It's very by the book.
You know, and again, there are some private schools that don't center around religion now. But the one that I chose to go to aligned with our faith, however, it was a Catholic school.
Okay.
So I get there, right? And the first thing, and I mean, it's not that, you know, obviously anybody that knows me, I don't hate white people, but when I got there, I was like, yo, I'm really the only, I know for a fact I'm the only African here. Yeah. And I'm one of the only black people here off the rip. So funny enough, we get there, and I think it's like the third day.
Sorry, not to, you can't hate white people. You got a white man on your,
you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that, man. But so I think it's like our third day on it. Yeah. The three newcomers to that school, it's a K through 8. Okay. So they have kindergartens from 8th grade, right? Yeah. And what I noticed was, after a couple weeks in, the majority of those students in my 7th and 8th grade all started at that school from kindergarten. So St. Lawrence Catholic School was their Hutchinson, was their Westendorf, was their junior high. So they knew each other. So like us coming in, it was just kind of like the new kids, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then on top of that, we're black. So it's like,
how was that, man? You know, I could imagine. Talk about that a little bit. How did that shape your whole perspective?
So our third day there, tell me why we have a little pizza party for all the new coming students, right? It's myself, Shelby Sumlin, Brandon Schultz, and Howard.
All the black people, all the black people in your story.
Okay, I'm sorry. Howard wasn't there. Howard and his sister Catherine were the two black kids that had been there since kindergarten or since 3rd grade, I think. So they kind of knew the group. They knew everything. They weren't anything new. But me, Brandon, and Shelby, we were the 3 new black kids. So it was literally just us 3 sitting in this room with our vice principal, and some plastic Domino's pizza, and I'm eating that, and I'm enjoying it because I'm like, okay, well, free pizza, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting to know these kids a little bit better. But then, like, after that pizza party, we get released again back into general population. I'm like, yeah, these kids are different. Mm-hmm. You know, sense of humor is different.
different ideals.
Just a different.
It came up different.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what I'm saying, episode 3, what your teacher said, you are a product of your environment. And I wholeheartedly believe that, because what you take in is going to be similar to what you put out.
100%.
So I'm realizing I'm going to have to change a lot of the stuff that I grew up doing, I grew up thinking, I grew up saying, just to make it through here every day, because I can't put every thought I have out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say that my original core group of friends, my elementary school friends, are so vintage, because y'all know me at my basic. In elementary school, man, we were some assholes, and I think about this a lot.
Still are sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? I think about this a lot, and but then again, everybody bullied everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we came in, I don't know, you remember me and Uche came in, we were all friends.
Shout out Uche. We're giving a whole bunch of shout outs today.
Oh no,
they gonna love this one.
I'm gonna say a lot of names now.
They're gonna love this one.
And they're not gonna keep going. They're not gonna make sense to some people, but just know.
Y'all better tune in.
Just know. So me, Uche, and Quartera, we all friends, right? But I'll tell you, Quartera used the term African booty scratcher more than anybody I know. That's an OG roast. You know what I'm saying? That's early 2000s. America at its finest. And that's just the time period now. We're headed towards a more PC culture where everybody doesn't want to offend.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't want to step on toes. Everybody doesn't want to do all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no problem with homosexuals, but you can dig up some of my old tweets and I'll fully own them. I've definitely used the F word a bunch. You know what I'm saying? I have friends around me that use the F word a bunch.
Yeah.
But we don't hate, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go out of my way to beat up a homosexual.
Yeah. Man, that's interesting, man. Thinking about that, because people, you're so right, bro. People get canceled for old tweets that they made when they were 18, 17 years old. And it's crazy to me. Like,
I wish somebody would try to cancel me. I'm going to just end up laughing. Look, because
but do you believe in cancel culture? I
believe in cancel, because to me, you know what cancel culture is aimed to do? Cancel culture is aimed to educate through negative reinforcement, right?
Yeah.
So, like, basically the same way how you act up in school, you come home, you get your ass beat, you act up in society, you preach messages of hate, you show that you're indifferent to some people's feelings, a group of people's feelings, and so they feel like the only way to make you acknowledge your wrong ways is to take away your livelihood. And it's effective, but it's unfortunate, because whenever you get trigger happy with cancel culture, then you have people being negatively affected for almost no reason. Like you said, people grow, people progress, people learn. So you might be canceling somebody for calling somebody gay or calling somebody or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, what if that's all that person was taught? I have homeboys that I've played ball with, that I've gone to school with, that have said so many things out of left field about black people. And one, I think, and it's kind of bad because I don't really get offended, because one, I'm a child of the internet. The day and age that we came up in, just as much as I was on the internet, I've seen so much offensive things, so many offensive, like memes. Yeah. Memes are really, they're meant to offend. Yeah. It's satire, but it's offensive satire, because all memes have a joke behind it or something behind it that makes it funny. You know what I'm saying?
What's your take on, because you say your friends, they're very... I know. I've had the privilege of having some encounters with them. You know what I'm saying, through Xbox and different.
And those aren't even the white ones. That's the funny part.
that's a whole other story.
Those aren't even the white ones.
What's your take on non-black people saying the N-word, man? Because I have homies who I have like this cognitive dissonance toward it, man. Because I've definitely been hypocritical on it, because I've not talk to friends, because my friends my circle now is very against it. They take it very personal,
very seriously.
They've taken out members of our friendship just because they've used it, and I'll as of recent I'll go along with them, be like, yeah, man, we probably can't mess with him no more. But I'll look at it, man. I mean, I don't know, because
I'll put it like this: growing up, especially in high school, going to such a white heavy, and really it wasn't even that we were white heavy. We were just so non-black, because at Clemens, the true majority are the Asians. But white people being the second leading demographic, they, you know what I'm saying, they still trump us out like 30-1 or whatever. So growing up in high school or whatever, I was more silent on it. mainly because in my mind it was like, shit, they're not talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna reduce me to that word or whatever. I don't take that personally. But then as you grow up and you see more stuff like that, and you begin to realize the effects, because everything in life has a consequence, you know. You start to see the problem with it getting normalized with that group of people because there's history behind it. So what I used to tell people, like in college, all right, so let's go from me in high school not saying shit about it, just being that token black guy, to now in college, where although I'm in Arkansas, there's a ton of white people. There's also a lot of black people in Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I'm at parties and I tell my white friends I'm with, I'm like, yo, y'all know I fuck with y'all, but y'all say that word and some black people get on you, I'm leaving you to the wolves, because you should know better, bro. You should know the history behind it. You should. There's a reason why it's like black people get to use the word. Why can't I use it? Well, there's a reason. Yeah. So if you want to use that word at your own risk, by all means.
You won't cut your friends off that use it.
You know why I won't cut my friends off because I use it? If they use it, because when I designate you as my friend, it's because I see something in you that I like, and that I feel that for some reason or whatever, we just gel like that. We are attracted to one another or whatever. So moving forward, I've had friends make a ton of social mistakes, dude. And more than ever, I feel like if I can't do my part to educate you before I leave you, then I failed you as a friend. So I'm definitely going to try and explain to you where you went wrong. It's up to you to accept it or not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So you'll try to grow with them before you cut them off.
Most definitely.
Like I said, because I'm definitely having this struggling act, because like I said, this isn't something I don't see this on a day-to-day, but I mean, I've had talks with my black circle at UT, and we have non-black friends in the circle, and they'll mess up here and there, and we've had to correct them on it. And it's kind of like, do we cut them off forever, or do we give them an opportunity to redeem themselves? Now, granted, they've been intact way before I got there. Like, they've been going to UT all the years of their career, whereas I got there 2 years ago in 2018. So they maybe they've had that nurturing process trying to. So I don't know, but I like what you're saying, bro.
No, because because
we might not agree on the same thing, and we might have different ideals, but I like what you're saying, that if you don't see if I can tell you about it, I won't cut you off though, because if you don't see the error in your ways, it can potentially harm you.
You know,
and I'm just let you deal with that yourself.
You feel me?
I like that. No, I like that. Yeah.
Because and another thing that I like to tell people, bro, like white. Okay, so here's another instance. Culture in America is mainly, it comes from black people.
Oh man, we run pop. We run
pop culture. Yeah. It is what it is for some reason or whatever. Like, there's a reason why. Whenever they want to show an ad for the Grammys or an ad for something else, it ain't country music playing. They're gonna have some urban, some pop, something that gets the people drawn together, ready to celebrate. Yeah, and that's because that's what our music does.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, what I tell people, they're like, okay, well, what if I'm listening to a song that says the N-word? And I'm saying, bro, if you want to listen to NWA in your room and say the N-word all you want, I can't stop you. You know what I'm saying? Reverend Al Sharpton is not going to come in your room and demand an apology.
Yeah.
If you go to a concert, it's all about context, bro. And if you're not smart enough to realize the context of your actions, then you're going to have problems in life, you know, because you have to adjust your behavior depending on where you are, who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I tell people that if you feel like you're at a concert and you're listening to a song and it's your favorite jam, and for some reason or whatever, the N-word is going to come up in it. And if you can't take the 2 seconds to think, yo, with this line coming up, am I about to say this word and then have 8 different black people just staring at me? And am I prepared to deal with the consequence of that?
Yeah.
If I'm not, I probably shouldn't say that word. Yeah. If I feel like I am ready to deal with that consequence, then by all means say the word and find out where it takes you. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people all the time, it's just a matter of thought, dude. It's a matter of context. Always evaluate where you're at. Always evaluate the people you're around, and just at least try to predict. Like, going back to what we talked to a couple weeks ago about conscience.
Yeah.
So with me being an only child, I don't have another human being to bounce ideas off of, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly bouncing ideas off myself. And the way I do that is the tiny voice in your head. Whenever you're thinking, that that voice that's speaking, literally speaking to you in your head. To me, that is my idea of conscience. Because when you're not talking, when you're not actively communicating ideas, your brain's still going, you know. And I don't know if you really understand. I tell people all the time I'm an undiagnosed ADHD person.
What does that mean?
So I tried to tell my mom. I remember her growing up early. I saw this ad online. They're like, if your child can't sit still, this or that, constantly doing that, just a whole bunch of symptoms.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds a lot like me. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, have you ever thought like I might have ADHD? Like, you ever thought about that or something? And she just brushed it off. She's like, you don't have ADHD. Stop being stupid. And part of me then was like, yeah, like this woman isn't really listening to me. Like she's not concerned with the same thing I'm concerned as. Me now realizing that she was probably doing that for the betterment of myself, because if I go to a doctor at that age saying your child has ADHD, they're going to pump you so full of Vyvanse and Adderall that I'm just going to be sitting in class looking like a freaking zombie, zoned out. Because that's how this country deals with mental problems. They pump you full of pills, medicine, you know. And that's why I tell people, because although I might, in a room, I might be chilling, I might be, you know, I might not have a thought in the world on my face, my brain is going 1,000 miles per hour. I'm always thinking about something. You know, my friends, whenever I do open my mouth and speak, my friends always tell me, like, dude, you think too much. And I was like, you don't think I know that? Like, I'm constantly evaluating, and I'm constantly, like, just running through different scenarios in my head, how things can go.
How do you respond when people tell you think too much? Because I get the same thing. I really, and I feel like it hinders me in a sense, potentially, but at the same time, man, I feel like it's good to act on your thoughts, man, and take those things serious. But how do you sort of, what's your retort when people tell you you're thinking too much? Because I get it all the time.
I'd rather think too much than not enough. Because a lot of people that don't think enough make a lot of mistakes. Thought is good because thought shows that you are capable of seeing something from two different perspectives, at least two different perspectives, right? If an apple falls, a lot of people are going to say gravity affected the apple, right? That's just one perspective.
Yeah.
General force of the earth drew it off the tree. A lot of people are going to say, well, what if the limb of the tree was weak? What if it just wasn't able to support that apple? What if the apple fell because, you know, the tree was rotting from the inside out? It was slowly dying. It was going to fall regardless of gravity, regardless of everything else. That apple is going to become detached from the tree because of things like that. Like, you're seeing things from more than one way. And to me, that is the most important quality in the people that I keep around me. Your ability to see things from more than one perspective. That goes
right into duality, man. That's a beautiful. We could talk right about that.
Duality and empathy. Those are my two main themes of life, and those are probably going to be the two things on my tombstone when I die.
Wow. Break down duality for people listening who might not know.
Duality is, to me, in my own words now, because everybody has their different interpretations, duality is the ability to see the good and the evil. Because everything in life, no matter, you can win $500 million today, that's a good thing, right? There's still homeless people in front of a Gucci store. Because you have all this wealth, somebody else doesn't. That's duality.
I think duality is so important, man, because if you can't, and we don't practice it enough, man. Like, it goes back to canceling. We cancel people who have one differing opinion, and we just completely remove them from our space because one different opinion. And it brings me to, like we were talking about earlier, I'm getting very invested in politics, right?
True.
And I'm following cats like Ben Shapiro, like, you know, who's very, very right. I don't know if you have any ideas on that, man, but
you know, and it's crazy because I hear people like label each other left wing, right wing, all this stuff, and I'm like, y'all are acknowledging the fact that y'all are on the same bird, but y'all just have two different opinions. So why is it so hard for you to take off your hat and put on the other person's hat?
Exactly. Let me finish this point though, because like, I'm following cats like Ben Shapiro. I don't agree with 99% of the things he says, but what I'm starting to understand from the people around me that are more educated than me and they know more than me, they listen to both sides of the spectrum. They listen to both sides because it gives you a heavy dose of it helps you not be too consumed with your beliefs, your biases, essentially.
Definitely.
You're able to listen to both sides of the puzzle, and it gives you a more clear picture of everything. And again, this is something I'm trying to practice. Like I said, I listen to Ben Shapiro's podcast. I don't agree with a lot of his points, man, but I do think, and I hope people listening understand that, because I'm just not realizing this too. I don't have this figured out. But I think having both sides and listening to both sides, if you don't agree with the man or not, just if he has a good, not particularly good message, but if he has a good heart,
you know,
if he has a good heart, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Like people like him, Tommy Lauren, Sean Hannity, the other dude that's on Fox News, like, and it's crazy because like outlets like that, I'm not saying podcasts are similar to news outlets, but you got to think about who's the head honcho and all those things and what's there, because it's going to be their message that at the end of the day is dispersed. Yeah. The other people are merely just talking heads, and that's why podcasts are so important, because it's independent. It's the people that are the people. Whatever message David West wants to get across, David West is going to get across on a High Yellow podcast, regardless. Because that's your podcast. If you work for NBC, for Fox News, for anything else, they're going to put a teleprompter in front of you and you're going to read off that thing. You don't even have to believe in what you're reading, but you're going to read it because you're getting a paycheck to read it. So that's why it's important I tell people, if you get most of your news from TV, you might want to search for other sources, because one, you're only getting what they choose to show you, and then you're not getting the whole picture of what they choose to show you. Because for every opinion that news outlet, that CNN gives you, that Fox gives you, that MSNBC gives you, there's somebody else saying the exact opposite thing. Yeah. Duality. But on top of that, with cats like that like to just continually harp on their opinions and their views and stuff like that, and I think it is important to have people like that, because whenever you have side A going so hard, it's very easier to discern what side B is. You know what I'm saying? So it helps you kind of find that middle ground. Yeah. But I just think it's so many things that play into it, bro. Like, because at the end of the day, Ben Shapiro, that's somebody's life. Ben Shapiro was once a second grader with snot coming out of his nose, not knowing if the girlfriend he's finna ask out is going to say yes or no. But now he's 40, 50, whatever he's doing, spewing whatever the hell he wants to spew out on his podcast and dealing with the repercussions of what society thinks of him. Yeah. But, whenever you really think of things in the bigger picture like that, it helps you discern, like, how important is this guy's message and how conducive is it to moving us forward as a human race, as a society, So,
and that's another thing I appreciate about him, right? He brings on cats he doesn't agree with. He brings on Democrats and just all types of different opinions. Again, I don't necessarily agree with everything he's saying, but I can respect not only the way his intellect is, because this dude, he's very set on his ways, and I like how he can distinguish his opinions and how he does that. But he'll bring on cats that have completely differing opinions, and they'll just talk it out. I can appreciate a guy, and this is what I'm aspiring to do, right? I can appreciate someone who's trying to get both sides of the puzzle. We might disagree, but bro, we gonna talk it out. Why can't we talk it out?
And you know what's crazy? So along those lines, and this is why a part of this argument really hurts me, is whenever I try to talk to some of my friends about the issues of black people in this country and how things are unfair, and they try to dead the argument by saying, well, if you think white people are so unfair to black people, you black people are unfair to each other. That's not conducive, dude.
Yeah, no.
You're trying to say that, or you're really trying to justify that you can't harp on white people all the time because black people just do just as bad as stuff to each other. Well, in response to that, how many times have you ever seen a black person kill another black person because he was black? There's usually a core argument. There's something there that led to the violence, that led to this. Now, not saying that's just the mandate for everything, but there's still kids in Philly getting hit by stray bullets and losing lives. There's still people all over the world that are doing immoral things that put them in a horrible situation that unfortunately leads to death. But you can't justify a situation of an oppressed people by saying that, well, they oppress themselves. Well, I mean, what do you think is going to happen whenever you try to hold people down, and then some of those people can elevate themselves to a higher status, and then there's other people in that same group trying to come up? They're going to try and hold them people down too, because it makes them feel like they're in a higher position. It makes them feel like the white people, and it's hurtful and it's tough. And until we get rid of kind of like that knee-jerk reaction of, but will you guys do that? And until we get rid of that knee-jerk reaction, bro, we're not going to be able to move forward, because people are starting to wake up. You know, George Floyd, God rest his soul, man. George Floyd lived a life of what I've read of many, many different things. Like, this dude went from playing hoops with the likes of Steven Jackson.
Apparently he was on a school mixtape.
You know what I'm saying? He was on a mixtape.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you've seen, or hopefully you haven't seen it because you're not decrepit, but this man's been in a porno. I don't know if,
I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, whoa, what? Like,
whoa,
and he's done all these things. So at the end of the day, though, you see that video that George Floyd posted about himself and about his view on the world and his view on life. And it just kind of makes you realize that even though you do all these things, who are you at the end of the day? What is
where's your heart, man?
Where's your heart? What are you doing moving forward? How are you helping others around you? And to me, that is more important than what you're doing. Steve Jobs makes billions of dollars every couple of minutes. Or not Steve Jobs, I'm sorry. Bill Gates. Bill Gates. I'm thinking of Bill Gates. I'm sorry.
You're good. Yeah.
Bill Gates makes billions of dollars every minute. But Bill Gates turns around and does so much activism work, and he spreads that wealth because he knows that, one, he's literally too rich to do anything with it. Like, he'd literally have to burn money in order to effectively use all the money he's making. Because there's nothing, you know what I'm saying? You can only buy so many things when you're that rich until you bought it all.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Nah, I like a lot what you're saying, bro. I think we've come to the understanding, bro. Where's your heart at the end of the day? You know, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
As we kind of run low on time, man, I want to give you the opportunity to talk, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to plug, but I want to give you the opportunity to. You done gave a lot of shout outs today on the pod, man. I swear, if y'all don't tune in, man, we got an issue, man.
That's what I'm here for.
Uche Quatera, hey, you better tune in, man, or we coming.
I got a lot of partners right now that I love seeing people progress and grow, because in my mind, even as I look at you now, bro, in my head, I'm still thinking about the David West I met in third grade. You know
what was he like?
You know what I'm saying?
He must have been great.
I still, every time I see one of my friends, because I'm the type of person that sees you, and then that image of you, because wherever state I saw you in that led me to become your friend, that's the image I perpetuate moving forward. That allows me to be your friend. That's why whenever people do some sketch shit, some negative stuff, that I'm like, man, like, you know, that's my boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I met him, that's not the person I thought he would turn out to be. But that's why I'm more liable to help people through those bad times than just desert them, because I know what you were, I know what you can be. But like I said, I got boys all over now. A lot of people, you know, quarantine has opened up a lot of alleys for people.
Like me in this podcast.
You know what I'm saying? I got boys making music. Shout out my boy Project Baby JV. Just dropped a tape, Letter to the Projects. 2 on Apple Music, Spotify, and all that. Cousin Gerald over here is starting to produce some more. He started making beats, going by the tag Maybelline.
Hold up, what's up with you, man? Let's talk about you, bro. I know you're a very gracious guy, but what about you, man? What's up with you, bro?
I'm making some music. I'm putting voice to tracks right now. That's what I want to do, because I've always believed that the producer is more important than the artist. Yeah. And a lot of people don't agree with that or stuff, because they're like, if you don't have the right voice on the track, it's just a track. And I'm like, okay, but you know, I took band for 3 years. I can read music.
I wish I would have took band,
bro. You know what I'm saying?
I made a lot of bad decisions coming up. I should have been in the band. I should have been a lot of things.
And it's crazy because, like, when we grow up listening to all this music, we grow up listening to T.I. and Wayne and all this stuff, and we're hearing these tracks. And at that time, I have no problem telling you, when I was growing up, I was focused on the lyrics, because there were some great lyricists growing up. There were people that were spitting some real shit, and I was like, yo, the wordplay. Rap is fun if you're smart, because wordplay and delivery and all that, it's amazing what these people can do, right? But then as we're now in this age, you see, or hip hop rap is progressing to where people want to dance, people want to have a good time, 100%. You know, and I think that's cool. I think that's fun, for sure, and I'm all for it. But with that being said, now you're shifting focus from the artist to the person making the music. And going back to my time in band, I played tuba, the bass line. So my part really wasn't the loudest, it wasn't the lead, but whenever you're playing the bass line and then you're hearing all those other parts work together to form the piece, and then you see where the bass line fits in and the percussion fits in.
Yeah.
No, music is truly one of the most beautiful things on this earth.
For sure, man. Hey, man, I'm supporting you, bro. I know you got some coming, bro, and I'm supporting you, man.
Look out. I'm going by the, I'm flipping my initials. I want my entertainment name to be Gold, but it's spelled AU, like the chemical symbol.
That's fire.
So what I'm doing is, all right, now I'm just starting out. I can write lyrics all day, just my vocabulary is large. I have a good understanding of words and syllables and all that. And I think that people,
a very eloquent guy.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little something here and there. But I want to start out putting words to music first, but then eventually I'm going to shift it to where I'm just making music. You know what I'm saying? And one of my greatest inspirations, like, for example, Pierre Bourne, to me, is one of the most versatile faces in music right now. Because if you notice, his initial placement was on Cardi's Magnolia, New York on Millie Rock. And that beat is so simple. It's literally just 3 guitar chords and the most basic drum line ever. But when it gives you such a playground like that as an artist, you can do whatever you want. So an artist like Cardi, who is very non-conventional, can come on and do whatever he wants and make it sound catchy. Because music, popular music, radio music, it's just all about the vibe. If you can get people singing, if you can get people dancing, if you can get people nodding their head along, you've got them hooked.
Word up.
You know what I'm saying? So really, it's up to the creator as the individual to make what you like and see where it goes. But you can't try to manufacture music to get streams, to get placements, to get radio plays, because at that age, and you're no better than all of these other music industries that forge together boy bands, use them and then throw them away, and leads them to all this different horrible stuff like drug addiction and all, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I saw a tweet from Currency, another artist that I greatly respect, because Currency walks the fine line of making feel-good music and being a lyricist.
Yeah.
And he's a very simple guy, at least from what I can tell from his music, because another thing that also defines rappers is, what do you rap about?
Of course, yeah, it's important.
So, like, Future to me is the GOAT, but what does Future rap about? Fucking somebody's hoe, cars, drugs, you know what I'm saying? Typical stuff that you would think would hold back the black community, but he spins it and turns it in such a light that it's almost like a rallying cry for motivation. Like, it's literally the most, like, unconventional and depressing motivational music ever, and that's why he's the greatest in my opinion.
I need to give Future more listens, bro. My friends are very big on it. I haven't given them the chance.
And you know what it is? Like, whenever you're listening to Future, bro, you just gotta. It's almost like a mode you're going in. You know what I'm saying? You can Future makes music you can chill to, but to me his greatest hits, like whenever you really look into those lyrics, a lot of people say like he doesn't rap about shit. Like, okay, he's not rapping about shit, but then
I definitely lean on that edge.
You know what I'm saying?
But I haven't given him a listen, so I won't.
But then you really look into Future, and I think it was was it Dirty Sprite 2? It might have been The Wizard album, where he gave that documentary of where he came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we said earlier, the environment you're raised in will become the root of what you put out. Yeah. So whenever you see where Future came from, you see what he's done with his life, and then you see what he's doing now. Yeah. It's like, well, no wonder you talk about this stuff. You've seen this stuff. You've seen firsthand what it can happen to people. 6ix9ine tried to call out Future for saying he's never got a drug charge, or he's never did this. He's not really what he raps about. Okay. How many people you think Wayne's been shot and killed? I don't think Wayne's really a murderer, but I believe Wayne has seen some stuff in New Orleans that a lot of people probably can't relate to on a sunny day. Yeah. But they listen to Wayne because he can put that in his music and make it relatable. Currency raps about cars, about weed, about
New Orleans,
about, you know what I'm saying, just stuff in his life, because that's what he knows, that's what he sees. But he can make it relatable through music, and that's what we as a human race, I feel like, once we can all relate to each other, we have to definitely ditch some of our pre-existing stigmas of religion, of differences, of other things like that. And do I believe world peace is attainable? I actually do.
Okay.
You know, but it's going to be a process that's going to continue long after we're gone.
But it is attainable.
But it is attainable.
Word, man. Listen, Ugo, it's been a privilege to have you on, man. I'm happy you came through on the pod, bro. It was necessary to get you on here, man.
This ain't even nothing to it, man. It was actually getting a little bit hot. told you I need to take off this hoodie.
Oh man, you waited to.
some point or another.
Dude said I'm gonna wait to the very end and take it off.
You know what I'm talking about? Shout out my man. If y'all ain't know, it's D Stowe & Co. around here. I wish I could have talked more about my time in Arkansas, but just really quickly.
Just to reinforce, he doesn't hate white people. He has a white man on his shirt.
You know what I'm saying? I can't hate. I really can't hate anybody, honestly.
Facts.
But going to Arkansas, so we've been blessed, first and foremost.
Of course.
Being situated where we're situated, because we are outside of a major city in the world. And on top of that, we're in a very better than most subdivision, being Sugar Land, Richmond, Rosenberg.
For sure,
right?
for sure.
We have clean water. We don't have to stress about electricity. Hella schools around us. There's a freaking jail behind us, you know, stuff like that. So I went to Arkadelphia, Arkansas, which is a town of about 10,000, 11,000 people. And most of that is because they have two colleges literally right across the street from each other. So that's the majority of the population, right? Now, when I first got to Arkansas, I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, what the hell is this? You know, just your typical. And it's crazy because now that I look at it, I feel like that's the real America. Because you're not always going to be in an area that has 100 million people or 30 million people where there's all these resources to make because, you know, that's where people are centralized. That's where they're focused. Yeah. But going to Arkadelphia really helped open my eyes as to, okay, well, shit, this is how you really get it out the mud. You know, like you don't have people knocking on your door every day giving you opportunity. Like you really got to wake up and you got to go take it. You got to go find it. Luckily, I was in Arkadelphia going to school. Yeah. And I've come into contact with people that were born and raised in Arkadelphia that to them going to Henderson was like how a lot of people all over Texas think about going to UT. You know? Wow. Going to Little Rock, playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks is like playing for the Houston Texans. Because that's all Arkansas got.
Coming up in the understanding the struggle and things, man. That's kind of how it was for me at Prairie View, man. You know, kind of seeing that was definitely my stumping grounds and how I came up, and it kind of opened my eyes to like I've had the professor on who told me that, man, this is you can't forget where you came from because this is when it was all bad, you was at Prairie View making it. So that's exactly what he said. So I definitely look at Prairie View. You know, I love the school, man. Let me how are we on time, man? Are we do we need to wrap it up or we need to?
Oh, I mean, if I can stay on longer, man, I'll talk for days, man. This is just conversation to me.
Nah, man, I'm gonna let you go, man, because it's like again, man, I got school shit to do. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know you don't know
obligations.
I got some school shit to do. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. I got an assignment due tonight. But again, brother, it's been a pleasure having you, bro. All love, man.
Anytime.
I'm gonna get you back on again, bro, very soon.
You get me back on again, I might have to bring a present or something.
Man,
honestly.
Facts, bro.
Man, no, but just for anybody watching, man, I'm trying to say this, I getting emotional, bro, because y'all got to understand, like, I've lost a lot of people in my life, and anytime I see somebody that I've known for so long grow and then go out and want to make a difference in their own way, I literally, in my internal being, I have no choice but to support. So for anybody watching, man, this High Yellow podcast, just know that even through the first 3 episodes that I've watched, or I've had the blessing of watching, every guest, I'm honored to be on this podcast because every guest I've watched so far on this podcast has been fire. I've wanted to personally meet each and every guest.
Thank you,
you
bro.
know. So this is good content for the open-minded. If you're willing to sit down and watch 2 individuals currently discuss any and everything and their 2 thoughts about it and allow yourself to take it in and formulate how you want to move forward with your life, then by all means, this is the podcast for you. But
that's love, bro.
That's all I got to say.
We're going to end it right there, man. High Yellow Pod. Thank you for tuning in. Bless.